and welcome back to the Tabletop Tavern. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Jenny. I will be your dungeon master now and forever from this campaign into the next, into the next, into the next, into the next, until I can no longer find players who are willing to be emotionally abused by me. I'm going to let my wonderful players introduce themselves, beginning with the fabulous, the fantastic, the flirty, the woman you love to hate, Victoria Shaz.
Hi, everyone. I'm Victoria, and I play Lione LaBelle.
I'm Pippin, and I play Ariadne and Kailte.
I'm Joe, or Joe Deer, and I play Gris Littlefoot.
Now, for those of you who weren't here last week, or maybe have never been here before, which, what are you doing? This is our campaign finale. I'm going to start this episode the way I do all episodes, with a little rundown of what happened last episode on the Tabletop Tavern. The party attended the wedding of Marius Steele and Lady Lione LaBelle. In the middle of the ceremony, a surprise guest interrupted the proceedings, and the party was whisked away to the Dream Realm, where they battled Elias, Leone's father. After successfully killing the betrayer, the party, one by one, re-emerged in the material realm. Before her friends arrived on the material plane, Lione made a series of decisions. Most of which questionable, all of them questionable, which leaves us where we begin today. Are you all ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Fucking born ready.
You ready for your last session with these characters?
Yeah.
You ready to cry?
Oh, yeah.
You ready to laugh?
Not
We're gonna
sure
laugh?
I don't think so.
how many times that'll happen.
Good,
but,
because
you know,
it's not in the plans. All right.
it's not in the script.
All right. When last we left off, Ari and Gris, you have just rematerialized on the physical plane. As you catch your breath and take stock of your injuries, you take in the scene in front of you, for which you have no context. Lione and Marius stand on the cliff top, lit by the orange, flickering glow of burning ships in the harbor on the horizon. Marius holds his sword, not quite in attack position, but aloft nonetheless, his mouth set in a grim line and his eyes shining as if he might cry. Lione stands before him, her skin glowing faintly in the inky blackness of the night, more than it really should, to reflect the dancing flames beyond. Her wedding dress is torn and bloodied, though there are no signs of injury on her body. Her fists are clenched. The air between the couple, you can tell even from a distance, is heavy with tension. At Leone's feet, you also see her father's body. It no longer looks imposing like that of an invincible god, but rather small and fragile, simply a dead old man at his daughter's feet.
Marius, what are you doing?
What am I doing,
Yes.
Lione? What
Why
are you
pointing
doing?
your sword at me?
Because you just killed thousands of people, Lione.
She what?
What
She-
did you do?
Leone,
I did what needed to be done.
what needed to be done?
It absolutely did not need to be done.
What needed to be done was this war needed to end.
So you ended it by doing killing.
No navy, no war.
Lione, how do you think war works? You think that they're just gonna be like, okay, she burned everything down, now we're... No! There's more ships, Lione. There's more people.
And yet, all
There
of
are
the people,
other fronts.
Thank you, Ariadne.
all of the, I mean,
Even
I
if
can
there
use that
weren't,
as well if I need
how
to.
do you justify that?
I can stop all of the people who were going to go from dying.
Leone,
By killing
saving-
them?
you
No.
just killed all of them.
They would have
Leone,
died anyways.
No, they would not have. You were going to save the world, Leone. I thought that was the plan.
I'm stopping the war.
You just doomed everyone.
The people who aren't at the war front yet are perfectly safe.
How many
Leone-
people do you think are in this harbor?
How about the
Leone?
people, the ones on those ships left behind?
I don't know if there's anyone on those ships.
There are absolutely people. Lione,
They're warships.
you
Yes,
can't feign
understand.
ignorance of what you've done,
I'm
Lione.
not.
But you think this is right?
I'm looking at the bigger picture.
Lione, some part of you has to know this is wrong. Some part of you knows This is wrong.
Hard
Lione.
decisions have to be made.
Lione.
And people
But-
aren't willing to make them. But I will be.
Lione,
Who gave you the right?
Lione, this is exactly...
I gave myself the right.
This is exactly what your father did. Why would
Is
you
it?
do... Mass genocide?
It's not genocide. It's not genocide.
Oh,
I'm
you're
not
right, Lione.
wiping
It's
out all of the halflings. I'm not wiping out all
You're
of the
absolutely
elves.
right, Lione. Actually, I stand with you on this one. It's not genocide. It's a war crime. You killed people who were not actively fighting each other. You killed people loading supplies into ships. I don't know who you are, Lione, but you're not the woman I fell in love with. The woman I fell in love with wouldn't burn the world down and call it rain.
Oh, and why? Why, Lione? Just to stop the war?
Yeah.
How is this going to stop the war?
The biggest issue right now is that the Navy, and especially the Aquarian one, is taking enchanted missiles and shooting them into the forest, destroying the Sea of Trees, causing the blockade. They're fighting each other over a war that the halflings declared. So if I destroy the navies, then it prevents anybody who had to go there any more lives from being lost.
Lione,
The Aquarian
Talk about
Navy,
treating
though.
the injury by killing the patient.
Nobody ever said these kinds of decisions would be easy.
nobody ever said these kinds of decisions were yours to make, Lione. We have leaders for a reason. We have politicians for a reason. Power isn't just something that you seize and take because you think you're the most qualified one to wield it.
That's how everyone has done it in the past. Why can't I?
Everyone. Who is everyone, Lione?
The king is dying. So what is he gonna do?
Probably not kill an entire fleet.
No, nothing. He's gonna do nothing.
There are other people besides the king who make decisions, Lione.
And here I was thinking you were the last one of us to believe in choice.
I made a choice.
What's the point of even fighting your father if this is how things are going to end?
I don't know what my father was gonna do, but he was gonna do more than just end a war. He was
going to do this
completely
because this is what he
reshape-
wanted. This is the outcome he hoped for.
Absolutely
One
not.
way or another.
He wanted to
He
reshape
wanted you to
Craven
have
into
this
a
because
whole
he
new
knew
world.
what you would do with it.
Lione, do you think that you can burn down the navies of kingdoms? You can declare an individual war on an entire continent and not have the world change? Do you think that this is going to be a consequenceless action? I'm
Every action
seriously
has
asking.
Consequences, Marius. I know that.
Do you?
You all seem to think I make the decisions I make lightly.
Yeah,
You
because
do.
you don't ever
Rudely.
talk to us about them. You don't
And
think
you-
through them. You make them of your own accord without
Yes.
any other input from anybody.
I
and you
do.
have consistently burned everything to the ground, Lione. Every time you've made a decision without consulting anyone, literally anyone, by the way, aside from corruption and your father, we have ended up in an absolute mess, a fucking disaster.
That's not true. I told
How is that
Marius-
not true?
Marius, I told you everything as it was happening.
And
I
I,
have a
told
hard-
you to do the opposite, Lione. Did I ask you to swallow the moon goddess? No, I asked you to stay by my side
Oh, and watch
and
you
let me
die?
know I matter. Yes, Lione.
Why would I do that?
Because
Because
When
I
can
am-
fix it.
I am a mortal man. You are a mortal woman. We are meant to live
No,
and
she's not,
die.
Marius. And neither are you, or did she not tell you that part either?
Oh, we had a conversation about it. And we don't know. what
Right,
that
but
spell
Lione,
did to you,
that
Marius.
was a decision that you made for
Okay.
me.
Consulting
You
Marius.
agreed to me casting that spell. You do not get to wipe your hands clean of that.
You're right, Lione. I did. But what I didn't ask you to do was forfeit the lives of other people for me. That was you.
Is that
This
why you did this?
right here was you.
Yes, it was. I won't say it wasn't.
Mary,
turned
this
to
is the
Gris.
last thing.
Yeah. I turned to Gris and I sort of looked down at her and was like, he would have left. He would have been on one of those. And we know Lione couldn't possibly have that. Couldn't let him make that choice.
I'm not willing to lose anyone else.
Leon, that's not a choice you get to
And
make.
we are.
What about all the
Clearly.
people
Why
that
am I
just...
here if you think that? Why
It's-
didn't I stay?
Yeah. I don't know. Ari, you made that choice.
Yeah, I did. For
Yo.
you.
What is going on? I just can't... Everything that's happened these past few weeks has been an absolute 180 from who I thought you were. What is going on?
I haven't changed.
You haven't changed?
I
Why are
haven't
you
changed.
setting fire to entire fleets of people? If you love Marius, these are the people that Marius loves. These are people that he knows, that he spent
You don't
time
know that.
with.
You don't know that.
Gris
Leon-
looks at Marius with an eyebrow raised.
Marius does not look back at you. He is just looking at Leon. And he goes, Leon, if that's true, if you did love me, you would have trusted me. You would have trusted me to make my own decisions. This right here, and he points to the cliff top, and then he points to himself and says, this was supposed to be a leap of faith, Leon. All of love is about trusting the other person, the person you love, to make the decision that's right for them. And you have never shown me that trust. I have leapt every time you've asked me to, and you have stood at the edge and made me question every decision. I've loved you, Leon. I have loved you. I loved you, and I told you that. I told you that with my dying breath. And I meant it. And you didn't let me die, Leon. And you wouldn't let me make a decision and live the life I meant to live. Leon, you had love this entire time. You had people who loved you, and you had people who you loved back. But that wasn't enough for you.
You would have been gone.
Leon.
Yes, Leon, and it would have been of my own volition.
Now other people have lost their Marius. They've lost their spouses, their children, their brothers, their friends, their neighbors, because of a rash decision that you made
It
to save
wasn't rash.
one person.
Mm-mm. Stop.
No,
saying
Gris,
the
I believe
decisions I
her.
make are rash.
I turned to Gris and looked back at Leon. I believe her. I don't think it was rash.
It wasn't.
I don't think it was taken lightly.
And if it
I
wasn't
just
rash,
think you don't care.
then
I
all of
care
this
about
talk
the
about
greater
killing,
good.
this is not the greater good.
How is sons who will never go home to their mothers a greater good, Leon?
How is hundreds of other people going out to replace the other people that would have died, and then the hundreds after that, and the hundreds after that?
What's to say that still won't happen, Leon? There is still a war
No
raging
ships.
on away from here. It doesn't matter if there aren't ships here. It doesn't matter. There's still a war. How long until the Aquarians come here and rage the war?
No
How long
ships.
until...
And who
Their
are
ships
you
are
to
gone
say
too.
that
How are
the
they
other
can
their
build?
lives mattered less?
They can build more
No.
ships. They have allies in the Tritons. Leon, this is not some make-believe little adventure that you go off on with your friends. This is politics. These are hundreds of thousands of other people's lives that you are playing with like it is a chess set in your mother's library. The decisions you make have real consequences,
And I'll
Leon.
continue to make those decisions.
Oh,
Marius.
good. That's great, Leon. I'm glad.
Why are we here? Ariadne and I followed you and trusted that we were gonna do something better. And here we are, standing on a cliff on what's supposed to be your wedding day, watching you set fire to so many people.
And it would have been my wedding day if my father hadn't shown up again.
And then why? What is even going on with your
He's dead.
I can see that, Lione. Why have we been through all of this? If it's for naught.
It's not for naught, Gris.
Ariadne, I don't think I can be here anymore.
I put a hand on her shoulder.
I don't think I can't support you, Lione.
You haven't supported me for weeks.
That's not
People
true.
Absolutely. People started talking about someone that I haven't even killed, and she points at Ari. You're still standing here alive, and yet I've been blamed for your death for the past 3 weeks.
What?
Can you imagine how that must feel to be told by dozens of people that you are going to kill your friend, and you'll just believe it?
And yet we are here on your wedding day, here to support you, to be here for you. We drank together, we laughed together, we prepared for your wedding together.
I just keep staring at Marius, and I step forward, and I go, what I gave you was my will.
Lione, you just said you told me everything.
That wasn't my business to tell.
It absolutely was,
Under
Lione.
no circumstances. Why would I tell you something that is Ari's job to tell you?
It is your job to tell me if you're going to kill someone.
I haven't killed Ari.
Well,
This is what I'm talking about. You've only killed thousands of other people, Lione. A pattern is a pattern. Well, now I feel perfectly justified in that assumption.
Of course.
Lione. Don't act like I am the bad person here. I have done nothing but love you and support you, and I gave you everything. And you gave me a harbor full of bodies that I am going to have to go through and identify as their commanding officer. You gave me a friend that now I have no reason to doubt that you're going to kill. You gave me a broken heart. I wish, Lione, you'd left me on that island. Because at least there, I knew who I was, and I knew everyone around me. I don't know you, Lione, and I'm not going to stand here and hold your hand and tell you it's okay to do what you're doing.
You have to tell us.
Always been, Marius. The
Absolutely.
first time you saw me, I killed Ciricea in cold blood to get my friends back.
Yes, Lione, and there was a reason for that. There was a cause and effect. Here, there is your simple misunderstanding of military strategy and your aggrandizing of yourself to blame. You haven't spoken to your friends at all about this.
We've spoken more than you think.
Oh, good. I'm glad to know that you've been opening up with them more than you have with me.
She absolutely has not, Marius.
That is not true, Marius. I have opened up with you completely. And Marius, when you love someone, you're supposed to love them at their worst.
This is beyond worse, Lione.
Lione, I can love you. I do love you. I love who you made me think you were, but I can't love you for this.
Then did you ever love me?
Thought I did. Lione. If you can love someone who betrays that love, who cannot love you back enough to let you make your own choices, then yes, I loved you. And maybe I still love you, but I don't know you. And I don't think I want to.
Lione doesn't say anything to that. She's just processing it.
Gris turns and looks at Marius and then turns to Ari. And she's like, we have to tell someone. We have to go help. There's got to be something. We can't. We can't. Lione.
Well, you can't.
Let Lione do anything else.
Let me?
Lione, you said you were going to make other decisions.
I always make decisions. I don't know what my next one will be.
Well, I don't think we can just stand by and let you make these decisions anymore.
I'd like to see you try to stop me.
That's why we're here, Gris. You asked why
Nothing's
we were
ever
here.
stopped me.
We're here because we were always going to be here. We were always going to end up here. And now I know why. I'll take another step towards Marius and go, it's not as if a captain of the guard can do anything. So what does the rest of the world have left if not us?
Ariadne. I know that everything she's done has hurt you and me and taken from us, but I'm not going to justify any of this to her by fighting her. I'm not going to raise my sword against her just so she can martyrize herself. And he kind of takes the sword and that he's holding and steps towards Lione and then lays it in front of you and looks up at you, Lione, and says, I'm not going to let you stand there and tell me you killed all of those people for my sake. This right here, and he gestures to the ships in the harbor, is how you lost me. And if you still think this was the right decision, then you have to realize this was never about us. It was about you. And it always has been. He turns, and Ariadne, he looks at you, and you can see that he's crying. He has his back to Lione. And he walks away down the sloping cliffside and disappears into the darkness of the night, leaving the rest of you behind.
I watch him sort of leave for a second, but I look back at Lione. And I just go, you're the queen of choices now. Why don't you make the right one for once?
Always made the right decision for me.
Lione,
Ari.
for
You
you.
all
That isn't
just
what I
agreed
said.
with them
For
at
you.
first. I
Lione,
haven't changed. You all think that I've changed. I'm exactly the same person I've always been. You just agreed with me when we first met. Do you think that any of the decisions I made on our first adventures would have been swayed by anything you said to me? No, you just agreed with me.
We were strangers then.
Still are, apparently.
And yet you're both here ready to betray me because I've made a decision
Betray
you didn't
you?
like. Yes,
Lione,
you heard me.
Do you have no remorse?
What I've done has nothing to do with you.
I'm sorry. I'm not asking if you're remorseful for me, for my sake. I'm asking if you feel any remorse for this harbor full of people that
I
are
did what was
dead.
needed to be done for the greater good.
Leon, you cannot continue to make these decisions. You are one person. This is not for you
And
to
I'm
decide.
not here to betray you. I'm asking you to give up your power. That choice lies with you.
At this point, I can't give up my power.
What do you mean? It's a conscious decision.
No.
You don't have to
You
choose.
can't just purge the god pearls out of you. You can't remove them. And now I've consumed my father's.
You can.
What did you think?
Of course you did.
Think. What did you think his gift to me was? The whole time, did you really not realize?
I knew exactly what they were. I just hoped you'd know better by now.
No better. This is
thought
what I expected to happen.
How long, Leon?
How long what?
Have you just hated everything from us? We've been here.
have
by your
never
side.
hated you.
I'm
No,
sorry.
you haven't.
Hated me was not the question. Hidden. You've hidden the truth.
I thought I heard hated. You know what? Victoria here. Hey, I heard hated.
Well, you hear what you deserve, apparently.
Rewind that.
How long, Leon? Has this been your plan?
We read the same prophecies, Gris.
Absolutely, we did. And I thought the goal was to prevent your father from doing exactly this. I thought our goal
planned
was
on raising the entire continent, destroying everyone. Do you want me to do that? Because I
No.
can. I
No.
don't want to do that, Gris.
Then why have you partially done it here? No.
I did what was needed. What needed to be done.
No,
You can't change
With
my
all
mind.
the power you have, this was your best solution?
For now.
For now? For
No,
now?
Listen to me. You are telling me that with all of the power that you have consumed, this was your choice. This was your first option.
Yes.
You could have protected people. You could have
How?
stood by their side and
Please.
fought with them. Why would you choose to? How could you to end one life, your father's today, let alone an entire naval fleet? Leon.
2 naval fleets, technically.
Leon, we have to tell somebody. We have to go
Who
help.
are we gonna tell?
The king? I don't.
He already knows.
What do you mean?
There's no way you don't know. Everybody knows.
Ari?
At this point, even a king can't beat a god.
An over-god.
No, I don't think so. You may be in on a technicality, but I believe that gods and overgods have some kind of responsibility to the people that they are meant to protect.
Not all gods.
Those people included.
You know, the gods are revered and feared. And sometimes hard decisions have to be made.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it seems like they do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I've sat here and blindly trusted somebody I barely knew.
Blindly trusted me? You blamed me for Ari's death when Ari was still walking beside me. Do you have any idea what that feels like? I know I
No.
said it earlier, but I really want to drive
Do
it
you think
home.
I would
Could
be
you
here?
imagine being blamed for someone's murder when they're still standing next to you? I was being prosecuted for a murder I didn't commit.
Can you imagine
By you
standing
and
next
Lily and
to
everybody
someone
else.
that is supposedly going to murder you, Leon? Can you
See the
imagine the
supposedly there, though?
courage it takes?
This entire time, we've been trying to fight what we were told was going to happen. And we thought we could. Part of the reason Gris and I made a deal with corruption of all people. But I'm here because it doesn't matter whether you kill me. That choice is yours. All I can do was try and keep you from further walking down this path, and I failed in that. I recognize it. But I don't think I could have done anything.
We had faith in you, Leon. We're here because we thought if there was a chance that everything we've been told that was going to happen.
I hoped you were right. I hoped we had a choice.
You have a chance to change fate. You can go. Sure, you'll be a coward who left. But you and I both know that you won't do that because you want to be the hero. And you both have wanted me to be the villain for the past weeks. Ever since I consumed that first god, you both decided that I was the problem. I could feel it, I could sense it, and you can lie to yourselves and say that it's not true. But it's true.
Even if we were, who do you think we learned it from? And you're right, I could leave. I want to. You say coward like that's a bad thing, but I would be alive. And I might be happy. But I have no guarantee that you wouldn't do exactly what you threatened to do with Gris. Intentional or not. Raise the country at every slight, at every skirmish, at every possible political encounter. Because you don't understand that people are complex.
I do understand that. Apparently, I'm the only one who's not allowed to be.
We're the
I'm
only
supposed
ones
to
who
be-
believed you could be.
I haven't been able to make a single decision that you both deemed bad without you both telling me that I was irresponsible for months and months and months. And I'll admit, this one, it's a decision I made and it was not an easy one. And I can appreciate why you're mad at me for it. But the others, when I consumed a god of my own accord, when I consumed several gods of my own accord, I didn't ask you to take it upon yourselves.
That's the thing about love, Lione. You don't have to ask people to love you. It just happens. And you don't get to decide. You should know better than most what people are willing to do for the people they love. Didn't you just lose yours because of it?
He's gone for now.
No, Lione. He's gone for good.
We'll see. Time can heal a lot.
It can't heal.
Time can't bring them back.
No. But like you said, actually it was Marius. All mortals die. Why does it matter?
You're gonna cheat. Lione, we can't let you do this. We can't let you continue to
If your argument,
How are you
and
gonna
Ari
stop
takes another
it?
step forward, is that all mortals die,
Mhm.
then why are you pretending to care about the ones you supposedly saved?
The people I love, I will do anything to protect them.
They're the only ones you're gonna protect. As an overgod, the only people you're gonna protect are the ones you quote unquote love.
I haven't decided what I'm gonna be like as an overgod yet.
Yeah, and that's why we can't let you do it. Can Gris cast hold person on Lione?
Yes, and then I need everyone to roll initiative.
I was gonna say, does hold person even work on me?
Hold person does.
Okay.
You have to do a wisdom saving throw of 17.
Okay, I'm gonna roll initiative.
11.
17.
What's your spell DC?
17.
All right. Gris goes to cast something on you, Leon. You can feel a force take hold of you, but you step aside, and whatever that force is shatters.
Okay, I'm gonna roll initiative now.
All right.
Gris pulls her
so
hand
funny.
down to her side and makes a fist and lets out a deep exhale, kind of preparing herself for what's to come, knowing that she's crossed someone she probably shouldn't have.
Lione looks at Gris. and smiles and says, "You made the first move." Oh, I
Can I
didn't
get-
Everyone has a
expect that
breaking
one.
point.
I wasn't gonna hurt
And
you,
I'll take a
Leon.
step in front of Chris.
Okay, so we got an 11 from Ari.
I got a 15.
19.
15. Ooh, Griselda.
It's Gris, actually. Please don't call me that.
Oh, I forgot
Right.
about that.
Sorry, continue.
use
I just
that.
wanted to get the initiative in order here.
Yeah, it's okay. Gris looks back at Leon and says, I wasn't going to hurt you, Leon. I merely needed to take a moment to make sure you weren't going to make any more rash decisions.
Oh, so you were going to try and do something against my will.
I was going
Yeah?
to try to still you so that we could
Uh-huh.
talk without fear.
Does that make you any better than me?
Yeah, Leon, because I'm not the one
Mhm.
who is giving up multiple people for the sake of one.
Why do you get to decide what's good and what's bad?
You don't get it, Leon. You really don't get it.
Neither do you. Who goes first?
First is Gris.
Leon, I still want to talk if you're willing. I still want to sit here and figure this out if you're down to figure it out. I don't want us to lose everything we've worked for. We fought your father. We've got that aside. Why can't we stop and take a minute and figure out what to do next? And with that, Gris is going to once again cast Hold Person, actually. So another
Right.
DC saving.
Yeah, it's a wisdom save.
A wisdom save, yeah.
Sorry. Oh, wait. Okay. That was a natural 20.
Oh my god, I hate my life.
Don't worry, it's probably the only time I'm gonna fucking crit tonight.
Once
Great.
again, you can feel kind of that force try to take hold of you, and this time, it doesn't even have remotely an impact. Your sheer force of will shatters whatever arcana Gris was conjuring to hold you.
Gris looks like incredibly downtrodden, and kind of looks over to Ari with fear in her eyes, truthfully.
Mhm.
She then is going to use a bonus action and cast Healing Spirit on herself.
All right, awesome.
I'm gonna kneel down while Gris is healing herself and look at her and go, I release you from Lily's promise. You can take Reese and go.
I won't leave you. I can't leave you, Ari. You mean too
Okay.
much to me, and I can't lose everyone I love today.
Leon, it is your turn.
Oh, I still got Twig though, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot Twig's here.
Twig is here.
Isn't Twig still a baby though in the real world?
Twig is a baby, so his movement speed is going to be his normal movement speed.
Okay. Gris whistles in kind of a lower tone, a little ominously, actually. And here comes Twig, and she looks up into the sky at him, and like closes her eyes before saying, "Leon, Twig, Leon." And she's going to command him to multi-attack.
All right, let's get some rolls.
Yup. Okay, so hit +4 to hit, which is
Big feelings in a tiny body.
no
For Twig or Gris?
for both of us.
Both.
Oh no! So that is 1 + 4. That's 5.
That was a crit fail.
So he does not do any beak attack. And then for talons, he's gonna do. Why am I just doing this on whatever D&D on here? This is faster. Oh, a nat 20 +4, 24.
It's still a nat 20. All right.
And so he's gonna dive in and try to attack Leon with his talons.
All right. So, and did you roll for damage?
No, let me do that. So 2d6 + 2. Is it times 9? Am I reading that correctly?
What?
What?
I don't know.
No. So roll for damage.
So you'll roll for damage, and then it's time.
8.
Okay, so
16.
for 16 damage. So Twig dives down. His first attempt to kind of grab Leone's hair with her beak backfires as he does like a little somersault in the air as she swats him away, but he manages to grab onto her with his talons, sinking them into her flesh. As he does so, Leone's skin, before glowing dully, begins to shine with radiant light. The blood that pours from the wound from Twig's talons is bright gold, and you watch as a pair of ginormous dragon wings sprout from her back. Her eyes begin to glow a brilliant shade of gold and red, and her hair lifts up into the air as if there is some kind of wind carrying her upwards. Her wings flap a few times, and she lifts about 2 feet off the ground. Twig, startled by this, lets go of his talon grip on her and flies back into the sky.
Yeah.
Leone chuckles and says, "The bird? Really? The bird, Gris?
Yes, Leon.
You
the
had
bird.
the bird take the first strike.
Well, I tried.
I will kill the bird."
You will not. I will not let you
Okay.
kill another person or creature today, Leon.
Gris, how are you gonna stop me?
With everything I've got. And if I
Good
don't
luck.
stop you, then I'll die trying. I promise you that, Leon.
Well, fate says you're not meant to die.
Well, I still believe that we can impact our fates.
But I am. And whether I do or not, I keep saying you have a choice. We all have
Do-
choices, and yes, we're making them. But you can just come with us. We can figure it out.
Who just took the first swing? It
You guys are
wasn't
running
me.
out of time. Please remember that every round is 6 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is it whose turn is it then?
Yours?
So Leone says, who took the first swing? And then she is going to I am going to have her cast a let's do, sorry, I'm scrolling to my 3rd level. I'm actually gonna have her just do I want her to take an attack on Twig? No, I'm gonna do an AoE. I'm gonna do a 3rd level fireball.
All right, sounds good. Let's get dex saves from Ariadne and Gris.
2 things. That's a nat 20 plus 11, 31, and I'm
Nice.
using my reaction from Mage Slayer to do a melee weapon attack.
Are
the
you
dirty-
close enough to me?
Yes.
We're all at 5 feet, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Gris
What
is
did
10
you
feet.
roll, Gris?
A dirty 20.
Dirty 20. So you're going to take half damage, and
So
Ariadne is going to take
you-
quarter damage.
Quarter?
What was the damage from that?
Or actually, we said no damage last
Evasion
time, right?
is no.
Let's
if
just
I,
do
if I
no
can't take
damage.
half damage by succeeding, I take no damage.
Yeah. You do
So
no damage.
that's 27 halved to
14.
14. Yeah.
All right, so Gris, you're going to take 14 fire damage. Ariadne, let's have that melee attack roll from the Mage Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you did. I let you level up, and you said,
The
I'm going to make
feat, I
Jenny's life
see.
really hard.
That is 18 plus 13, 31 to hit.
Yeah, 31 hits.
Yeah, believe it or not, a 31 does in fact hit my AC of 17.
I don't know. You got a lot of things.
AC still 17, baby.
10 plus 9, 19
Okay.
piercing damage.
All right, it's going to do 19 piercing.
Okay.
That's me.
Leon, would you like to do anything else with your turn?
So Leone is going to look at Ari and be like, "Oh, you learned something from fighting my father. Good for you."
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
actually, I did.
And that's
But not about fighting.
That's all I'm gonna do this turn.
Right. Next is Ariadne.
Okay. I'm gonna go in a whisper. I wish you'd come home with us and attack again. That'd be a second. It's a 29 to hit.
29 hits.
Shocking. It does in fact
Shocking.
hit. Yeah. Yep.
That's 11 damage and a con save of 17 for stunning strike.
Okay. How does stunning strike work?
It's just a con save.
It's a key save, but for you, it's a con
You know
save.
what? And what happens when if I get stunned?
You'd be stunned till the end of your next turn.
And what happens if you're stunned? I've never been stunned.
I believe it's disadvantage on attack rolls.
Yeah.
I'm gonna burn one of my legendary resistances then.
Go for it. Well, first you want to roll for it, and if you fail, then
true.
you can burn through.
Okay,
one of
so
the
what's the
legendary.
con save that I have to hit?
17.
Oh, my con's good though, so yeah, maybe I don't need to burn a legendary resistance.
Yeah,
that's a dirty 20.
plus 11
Oh
to
my God,
con
that's 4 so far.
saves.
Yeah, that's a dirty 20.
Fair enough, but I get to try it. I got to try it, so.
Try to stun me.
Okay, then, seeing that it didn't work, I'd sort of just stop and think, I really should have practiced that more. And try again.
Go for it.
Just nod subtly.
That's a nat one.
Ariadne, you go to hit Lione again, and you trip over your own feet. You sort of stumble. You manage to catch yourself, but you realize that what you've tripped over is Marius's sword in the grass.
I just look. I just have to stare at it for a second, and then I write myself. I look Lione dead in the eyes again, I guess, and I'm gonna do patient defense and take dodge as a bonus action, and go. So was Lady Luck right?
Is that the end of your turn?
Yes.
Lione is gonna use a legendary action.
At the end of Ariadne's turn?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So that is not the start of your turn. This is the end of Ariadne's turn.
Yeah,
so at
so
the end
it
of
is Gris
Ariadne.
first, but...
All right, everybody, for wing attack, y'all need to make a dexterity saving throw.
Happily. It's a 24.
19.
Ooh,
All right, so
I can roll the
Gris,
Yes.
have you rolled damage, Leon?
So that's a 7 plus 8. 15 damage. And then because you didn't save, you are knocked prone.
So, Gris, Lione, after Ariadne hits her and says this, lifts her wings into the air and flaps them as hard as she can. You feel yourself be buffeted by a strong wind, knocking you over, and holy shit, I will be right back.
Mm-hmm.
What was the save on that?
22.
Oh, shit.
It's a DC 22.
And damage was 17, is that right?
15. So you took 15 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And because you didn't save,
I'm prone. Nice.
you are going to be knocked prone.
Thanks so much, Leon. I thought we were friends. This is cool.
You attacked me first.
I was just trying to hold you.
That's an attack.
Like a mother holds a
I will
child.
have you know.
I just wanted to wrap you in the arms of my magics.
I have my own mama.
Tali just broke through the door holding a bag of what used to be 12 whole ghee rolls in her mouth. There was one left.
Good. You know what? Tali needed some carbs.
Glad somebody's having a good night.
Tali needed carbs.
Totally, baby.
Oh my god.
All right, so the strong wind buffets you over. You are now knocked prone.
Mm-hmm.
If you are unfamiliar with the effects, you can click on the effects page at the top right of your character sheet and click it, and it will tell you everything you need to know.
My
Leon-
turn is over, so do for us, do I get my reaction back, or do you want me to wait till next time?
Your turn is over, so
Up to
You did do a reaction this round, right?
before.
yes.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
you're fine. You get your reaction back.
Cool. Then I'm gonna open palm strike Leon.
Okay.
With an unarmed attack, and that is 23 to hit.
23
That
hits.
hits.
Okay. Then that is gonna do 9 bludgeoning and another con save.
Okay. I'm gonna burn a legendary resistance.
All right. So you go to strike Leone. You do. It hits her, but you see her reach within herself, and her eyes glow a little brighter. Leone, it is now your turn. You took your legendary action at the end of Ariadne's turn.
Is it Gris's? I think it's Gris's
It's
turn.
my turn.
Yeah.
No. So the wing attack happens at the end of someone else's turn. It does not consume your turn.
Yeah, but it was because it's at the end of Ari's turn, and then it was
Mhm.
Gris at the top of the order, and then me.
Oh, it is Gris's
Yeah.
turn.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I forgot that it goes Ari, Gris, Leone.
Gris.
Gris is gonna shakily stand up on her feet and shoot.
You're prone. I believe you have to consume an
Yeah.
action to stand.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Okay, you're gonna take an action? Okay.
Yeah. And so she stands kind of shakily and looks at Leon and just kind of calls out and is like, "Are you sure, Leon? Are you sure this is what you wanted?"
You attacked me first.
I didn't attack you, Leon. I was
You
trying
made
to
this
hold you
choice,
so
and
that
then
I
you
didn't have to
stick
fear
your
for my
bird
life.
on me. You made this choice, Gris.
Fine.
It wasn't me. I take ownership of my choices, and so should you.
My choice was never to hurt you, Leon.
You're
Just-
the one who attacked me first.
Just to stop. Okay, fine. Then I'm gonna
So-
attack you again.
All right, combat. 6
Gris-
seconds rounds.
yeah.
Come on, guys.
Gris is gonna cast Grasping Vine. So you need to do a dex saving throw. 17 is what you're trying to get.
That is a nat 20, actually.
You got magic dice on top of all those character buffs?
I charged my dice in the moon.
Absolutely incredible.
All right,
Alright.
so you got a nat 20 on your saving
I
throw?
did.
A large vine appears in front of Gris and shoots towards you. You step aside, dodging it easily, and just sort of take one of your hands, and this glowing light that emanates from you, sort of slices through the vine as if it's a flame.
Gris closes her eyes, frustrated. And once again, she's gonna whistle to Twig and call him back to her.
Oh, it's
And
my
the-
turn.
And that'll be the end of that. She's just gonna bring Twig close to her.
All right, Twig lands next to you.
Okay.
Leon, now it is your turn.
Yes. So Leone is going to pull her sword out, and she's going to cast Green Flame Blade on it. And then she is going to just fly on, because she's about 2 feet off the ground, right?
Yes.
She's going to fly over to right where Ari is. And I'm going to try and hit you
Okay.
for my first attack.
I feel like so betrayed. As Amanda, like I feel so betrayed.
So sorry.
I'm having the time of my life as your dungeon master.
Okay, so the first attack is not going to hit. We're going to go in for a second attack, folks.
The like glint in Vic's eyes.
Mhm.
Does a 19 hit?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to take 11 piercing damage,
Okay.
and then you are going to take 13 fire damage.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go in for my third attack. That that one is also going to hit because it's a 21.
Mhm.
So you're going to take an additional 10 piercing damage and 6 fire damage. And so Lione is going to walk over to Ari.
Fly over.
Fly over,
Mhm.
yes, sorry. Her sword aflame, and is just going to like slice at Ari twice and be like, miss the first one. And then hit the last 2 times and say, I learned my way around a sword, and I guess I can thank you for that. And then she's going to fly 10 feet into the air. No. Yeah, she's going to fly 10 feet into the air. And I'm going to burn 2 sorcery points to turn a action into a bonus action. And then I'm going to cast... Ooh.
Does that count as giving me an opportunity attack? Because she moved out of range. I don't think so.
Good question. I don't think so.
But I thought no, I don't think so either. But I thought I'd ask. It was just a thought.
Good question. I appreciate the query.
I'm gonna cast a 4th level Scorching Ray. And so I get if this hits, which it likely will. That is... I'm just looking for my spell DC. Yeah. Okay, so that's what is math? Jesus Christ. That's a 22 to hit. So I'm going to cast 3 of the rays at Ari and 2 of them at Gris.
All right, roll for damage on the first 3 and then roll for damage on the last 2.
So it is 2d6 per ray. So 1, 2. So that's 24 fire damage for Ari and 17 fire damage for Gris.
No
Can you
chance to
repeat
save.
mine, Vic? I cut out for a second.
24. Sorry,
Thanks.
24.
And I'm down.
Oh. Okay.
Be sure to keep track of your negative health points if they happen.
Okay.
Just in general for everybody.
Yeah, always do.
I always
I don't
forget.
want instant death.
I'm the queen of forgetting about negative health points.
It wasn't even something I have
Extra
ever
math.
considered.
It's hurtful that you can go negative.
All right, is that the end of your turn, Leon?
Yeah.
All right, Ari, it is your turn, which means you are making a death saving throw.
Yep.
Mhm.
That is a 14.
Oh,
Okay, that's a success.
Ayo. That's out of character.
All right. Speaking of successes on death saving throws, Gris, it is your turn.
Gris is going to go over and stabilize Ariadne.
Are you using a spell or are you...
Yeah, I was just going to use a spell. I'm going to do... If I use a spell that gives hit points, are those wasted?
No. So those hit points will serve to stabilize them.
Okay, perfect. So Gris is going to go over to Ari and kind of kneel down next to them, and she's gonna like touch Ari's shoulder, and she's gonna take a deep inhale. She's gonna be like, "Stay with me, Ari. Stay with me." And Gris is gonna cast 5th level Mass Cure Wounds. So that is 68 plus 5. So 1, 2, 3. So it's 26 plus 5, 31 for both me and Ari. And then Gris is gonna like just kind of quickly like turn to make sure that Lione is like away. And then she's gonna cast a bonus action, and she's gonna use 5 Balm of the Summer Court to heal Ari. So that is 5 d6s. Sorry, I just don't have enough dice for this, guys.
All good. Also, if you type 5d6 into Google, it will automatically roll 5d6 for you.
First of all, that's incredible. Second of all, thank you. That's an additional 14 for Ari.
Thank you. And 5 temp, right? That almost summer court does that.
Yep. It sure does. Okay, sweet. So now it's Twig's turn. So Gris is going to look over Twig, make sure he's okay, and then she's gonna once again send him towards Lione for multi-attack. So let's see. For the first hit, which is beak, that is 4. And it doesn't hit. For talons, 19, 23.
That
Hits.
Yeah.
Roll for damage.
Perfect. So for damage, that is 2d6 plus 2. Oh, I can't roll an RE sheet. That makes sense. 7, 8, 9.
Okay.
And it's slashing damage.
So Twig once again takes up into the air and dive bombs you, Lione. Again, he goes for your hair. Again, you slap him kind of out away from you. But he again manages to catch you with his little talons, digging into your flesh and tearing. It hurts.
Yeah.
He then circles back up into the sky and sort of circles above you.
Lione looks at Gris and says, "Have the bird keep attacking me and I'll kill the bird."
You know, I don't know if you remember, but I'm not a very violent person. I know how to heal things.
I don't know if you remember, but I am.
Yeah, so that's why I'm sending my bird at you.
I'll kill the bird, Gris.
We'll see about that.
Lione, it
Just
is
a
your
warning.
turn.
Yes. So Lione is going to fly back down 10 feet. And she is going to how close is everyone? I'm just gonna look at the roll 20 really quickly. She's gonna kind of stand right beside Ari and Gris. And she is going to just go in for a melee attack. She's gonna
Remember,
actually
you have disadvantage because I dodged.
Right. Ari did take the but you
I'm actually taking it
went
on Gris.
down
I'm
before
taking
you.
the first one on Gris. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Sorry.
I regret being a healer in this moment.
Does a 13 hit?
Sure does not.
It do not hit. Okay. Leon's gonna go in and try and take another attack on Gris, actually. Does a 18 hit?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So you are going to take 8 piercing. And then you are going to take 3 fire. And then because Ari is so close, you are going to take 9 fire damage.
Okay.
And then Lione is going to turn to Ari for her third attack. And do I have disadvantage on this one? Because you took dodge? No, because the turn is over.
They went down after the dodge.
Oh, yeah,
so they
yeah,
could have
yeah.
used it even if the turn wasn't over, but they
went down. Right.
Yeah.
That one is not going to hit. So Lione is going to basically be like, and then she's going to take 2 sorcery points, convert them, and she is going to cast. Let's do. You know what? Let's take it back. Let's throw it back a little bit, shall we? We're gonna do a 5th level magic missile.
Yeah, okay.
It was going to be that or Mage Hand, and Mage Hand doesn't make sense in this instance, so...
I just
she wouldn't
feel-
have to burn any
I
spell
just feel
slots
like
for that.
one more moment of magic missile is necessary. So that's going to be, you know what? No, that's actually way too much math. I've made a decision. It's too much math. I'm going to cast Ray of Sickness on Ari.
What level are you casting it at?
That's a 4th level.
Dope. I'm not keeping track of your spell slots. I
yeah.
actually don't need to know that. I'm just
I
actually
am.
vibing, guys. I'm having a good time.
Does a 23 hit?
Yes.
Okay.
You have, aren't you resistance to disease and poison? Would this be considered?
I'm
It's
immune to disease and
necromancy.
poison.
It's
Yeah,
necromancy.
This does necrotic damage instead of
Yeah.
disease.
So you're going to take 16 necrotic damage. So Leon
there's
basically...
no saving throw or anything.
Nope. It's
Nope.
just damage.
6 or 16?
16. So Leon is going to go in. She's going to swing at Gris once and miss, and then hit Gris and be like, it didn't have to be like this. Turn to Ari, swing and miss, and be like, fine, I'll resort to what I was born with. And like throw her hand out and cast Ray of Sickness.
Ariadne, you feel the flesh of your body begin to droop on your bones. You're having a bad time. You did rematerialize in the physical plane, both you and Gris, bearing injuries from your last battle. Any
Did you
damage
learn that one from your dad?
Yeah, there we go.
Learned that one by myself. Thank you.
All right.
All right, that's the end of your turn. Let's go to Ari.
Okay. I'm gonna stand up. I have tipsy sway, so remember I get to take 5 feet of movement instead of the action. So I stand up. Probably stumble a little bit, not looking too great. And I go, you almost make me miss your father. And go to attack.
His eyes go wide.
Let's have you roll.
21 to hit.
That hits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're gonna do 7 plus 9, 16 piercing.
Okay.
And falling into that same momentum, I'm gonna use my second attack. 21 to hit. Okay.
Beauties.
Love it. And that is 11 piercing.
Okay.
Okay. And then I'm gonna take patient defense again and dodge.
All right, so you took a dodge bonus action.
Dodge bonus action, yes. And that I was just checking where I am on the map, and that's my turn.
All right, awesome. Ari just went, so now it is Gris's turn.
Okay. Gris is going to once again turn to Ariadne and place her hands on Ari's wrist and just kind of shake her head and like, oh my gosh, can't believe I have to do this. And going to cast Cure Wounds.
Sorry, I'm squishy.
It's okay. Which is 23 plus an additional 25 healing.
Thank you.
Sorry, what, Leon?
What level are you casting that at?
4th?
I would like to counterspell that, actually.
I'm
You're
sorry.
Cast
the
a fourth level counterspell?
I'm going to cast a 4th level counterspell.
All right, you don't have to roll for it. Gris, you are unable to heal Ariadne.
But you did cast a spell within 5 feet of me, which means I get to make a melee weapon attack on you, babe.
Is a
That is
counterspell a
true.
reaction?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
that's-
got
yes.
it back.
Yeah, that counts as a spell.
I took Mage Slayer for you.
So basically, I feel like Leon would look at Gris healing and be like, no, I don't think so. And just like take the energy and kind of like, and then turn to Ari.
Gris tightens her grasp on Ari's wrist for a second and turns to Leon and says, so you do intend to kill Ariadne?
Ariadne is actively lunging forward with her sword.
With a 29 to hit.
It hits.
Believe it or not, that
Believe
hits.
it or not, that hits. and a 16 piercing.
Okay.
And I will look back at Gris and just say, I will say I doubted it, or I wanted to doubt it. One or the other.
Gris shakes her head and she's like, I don't know what to believe anymore.
You both
Go
made
for
this choice first.
Okay, Leon.
Just remember that.
Sure thing.
Gris, do you have
Leon.
anything else you'd like to do with your turn?
I sure do. I have some bonus actions. Gris is going to. Yeah, this is not fun. So Gris is going to.
The feedback every dungeon master wants to hear.
Well, I think Ari's gonna be mad at me for this, but she's gonna do it anyways. Gris is going to once again grab Ari's wrist, and she is going to use hidden paths and teleport both herself and Ari like 60 feet away from Leon. So actually, we'll just go 50. So we'll go back here. So if you can move your token, Ari. And Gris does this, and as they end up in their new spot, she's kind of breathing heavily, starting to feel kind of the results of her wounds. Twig is still where she left, so she didn't. Oh no, she didn't like bring Twig with them. So she's going to once again give a low, slow whistle to Twig and command him to multi-attack Leon again. So let me do those rolls real quick. It's +4/+4. Okay. So first one is beak. That is not going to work at all. Second one is talons. That is a nat 20 plus 4, 24. So I'm guessing
Just
that
the
one.
nat 20 matters.
And then to hit, let's see, the 2d6s. That is 11 plus 2, 13 piercing damage.
So that's going to be 26 piercing damage.
Yeah, 26 piercing damage.
All right, Leon.
So Leon is going to use a reaction.
You already used it.
Oh, shit, I did for Counterspell, right.
Counterspell to reaction. Leon, Twig dive bombs you. And again, goes for the hair. You are getting very sick of this. It is child's play to swat him away from it. But again, he latches onto you, and this time he digs in deep, tearing into your flesh. More golden blood pours from your wounds. It is now your turn, Leon.
Leon is going to call to her friends and say, don't you forget that I do magic. You being far away doesn't really matter. And because she's hovering 2 feet above the ground, that means she's flying, which means she has
The flying speed, yes.
70 feet of movement.
Freaking vengeful god, why?
So Leon is just literally going to fly to her friends and be like, you thought you could get away? Please. And she's going to go in for an attack. First one on Gris.
Of course.
Does a 16 hit?
16 is my AC, so yeah.
Okay. So you are going to take 8 piercing damage.
8.
Yeah. And then you are going to take, oh my god. You're going to take 16 fire damage, and then Ari's going to take 9. Actually, yeah. That's the math. Because it says green flame blade. I'm reading this correctly, right? Oh no.
I don't know. I don't.
Never
have the
mind.
spell,
It's
but-
adjusted, so you don't take that extra
Okay.
damage. Ari. That was old green flame blade.
I think we remember the mouse.
Yeah, but this is adjusted, so you can probably give yourself 9 health back because I fucked up before.
Cool.
Okay, so does a 23 hit?
Me? Yes.
Actually,
It definitely hits Gris. If
Actually,
you're trying to hit
Gris.
Gris, it hits Gris.
I'm trying to hit Gris again.
I believe that
damn.
Gris has an AC of 15. I could be wrong.
It's 15 plus my turtle shell, so it's 16.
Love you, Gris.
Okay, so that is only 8 piercing damage.
On top of what I just got?
Yeah, I went in for a second attack. And then that one's only 3 fire damage.
Okay.
Not all of my rolls can be good.
Yeah, well, they're good enough for right now. I don't know if you've seen my
Okay.
sheet
Okay.
yet.
And then you know what? Lione is going to Lione is gonna she's still got, so I only had to fly 50 feet. She's still got 20 feet of movement, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Leona's gonna fly 20 feet back. Do I take an opportunity attack from anyone for that?
No, you are still flying, so you're good.
Okay. So I'm gonna move 20 feet back. So that would be like here. And I'm gonna look at them and say, this is your last chance.
Last chance for what, Leon?
You know.
There is no last chance.
And then I'm gonna end my turn.
Okay. Then that's me.
Yes.
So you're 10 feet away. How high up are you? Do I need to worry about that?
They're 20 feet away.
I'm 20 feet away.
Oh, 20 feet. Sorry,
They are only like
counted.
she's only like 2 feet off the ground.
I'm like creepy hovering. I'm like Pinhead in DVD.
Just making sure.
Floating, baby.
And go. I mean, so I'm gonna go right back up to her.
Hey, are you sure?
Yes. And go. I won't say I'm at peace with it, but I'm ready. And go in. Give me a moment.
Gris lets out a groan and kind of like I think any kind Gris is gone from her eyes at this moment.
That is a nat one.
Ariadne, you go to attack Leon, and you again stumble. This time there is nothing to blame but your own feet.
It's these damn wedding shoes.
Perhaps you are less ready than you thought.
Cool. Just making sure. Then yeah, I'll sort of just like huff in frustration, and you can probably see that if I look back up at Leon, she might be able to tell that my eyes might be a little bit glassy. As I go for another hit. That's 10 plus 13, 23 to hit.
Hits.
Yeah, that hits.
That is 8 plus 9, 17 piercing.
Seeing Ari's eyes glassy, she looks at them and says, "You didn't have to do this."
Neither did you. And I'm going to take patient defense one more time. And end my turn.
All right.
Okay, so Gris is going to shout out to Ari. And once again, she's going to say, Ari, I swear to Sylvanas. Not today. And she is going to cast a 7th level heal on Ari, so that is 80 hit points for you. And then she is going to dig around in her bag for a minute. How far are you from me right now? Let's see here. 20 feet. Can Gris throw something 20 feet?
That's gonna be a athletics check.
All right. Well, I'll do it. Oh, be nice, dice. Be nice. 14.
That's not gonna.
Yeah. So Gris, can the bottle of the jar of dirt that Gris was going to throw to Ari land like halfway?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll say you make it about 15 feet.
Okay, perfect. I guess it's about here-ish if you want that jar of dirt.
If they wanted it, they can use their dodge action instead of to dodge to grab the dirt.
Oh.
If you wanted to. That's up to you. You can choose how you use that. That's your action.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I won't disrespect Gris's mighty effort.
Okay, cool. Then I will delete these circles that I keep drawing.
every time Joe's like, I love how much effort you put in this map. What if I put ugly drawings on?
Mm-hmm.
I just have to, Jenny. I have to. It brings me
That's
small
okay.
joy. Small amounts of joy.
Okay.
Gris is going to... Twig is here. By Lione, I'm imagining. She's gonna do another multi-attack with Twig. So let's roll those bad boys. First one is 16 plus 4.
That hits.
That hits.
All right, so that is going to be 3d4. Six plus 2, 8 times 2, 16. So that is 16 piercing damage. And then for talons, 2d6s. 5, 6, 7 times 2, 14.
So Lione, Twig the bird dives down, grabs your hair and pulls it. You can feel it yank some of the hair from your scalp. You can feel the raw hair follicles begin to bleed. As you process that, he digs his talons into your shoulder. You looked like you were going to say something. What's going on?
I'm going to react. I'm going to say, I've had enough of this bird. And I'm going to cast Hellish Rebuke on it,
All right.
which is 6d10.
Yeah, it is.
How much health does the bird have?
60.
How much?
60 HP.
Can we have you make a saving throw for... Wait, please.
Just a normal saving throw.
Yes.
Do. Please do good. Please do a good roll. Please do a good roll. Nope, it's a 10.
All right, let's have you roll for damage, Leon.
That would be 38 fire damage.
Oh boy.
Twig is scorched by a sudden beam of flame that shoots from Leon's glowing skin. He squawks loudly "Ah!" and flies back up into the air, smoldering.
Gris lets out a shriek and like just screams at Leon's name. And that's it. She's gonna be Leon!
And I'm going to use my reaction to defend Avenge Twig.
All right, go for it, Ariadne.
That is, oh no, that's 4 plus 13, 17 to hit.
Does a 17 hit? Yes,
My AC is 17.
that
That
does
hits.
hit.
Ari's like, woo, woo, woo.
That is 10 piercing.
All right, Ariadne, you dig your short sword into Leon.
Mm-hmm.
Really bury it in there, and as you slowly pull it out, you can see golden blood drip from the blade.
Leon is gonna very, very slowly turn her head to Ari. It's my turn now, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to say, Ari, this has been fun while it lasted. How much health do you have?
94.
All right, great. Okay. Leon is going to fly a little bit further up into the sky so that she's 10 feet. And she's going to look at Gris and say, remember you started this, but I'm finishing it. And she's going to cast a 9th level power word kill on Ari.
Leon begins to glow with brilliant golden light. The light that already surrounded her is blinding. Ariadne,
Mm-hmm.
you can feel the world slow down around you. This golden light is all-consuming, and you may not be particularly old in elf years, but you have lived 3 human lifetimes. You have seen people you love cross to the other side, and you know this is your moment. You have time for one final act before you automatically save all your saving throws.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything Ari would want to do in their last moment?
Yes. I want to read the inscription on my ring. I want the last words I read to be Lily's.
Oh my god.
You can feel your heart slow in your chest as you, with a shaking, trembling hand, pull the ring from your finger and hold it to your eyes. It is the only thing your eyes can focus on in this brilliant bath light. The words are in Sylvan, but you've practiced and you've been relearning your mother tongue, the woman you love. It is a saying that is short, concise in Sylvan, but so much longer in the common tongue. The inscription reads, "To know your love is far greater an adventure than that in any book." L.
I smile, and I like hold it to my chest.
Gris, you watch as Lione shines with this brilliant golden light. Ariadne, in front of you, crumples to the ground.
No.
Lione, with this act, you, as an overgod, have killed an undergod. You can feel their power join with yours as they fall to the ground beneath you. You cannot bring yourself to land, and you realize that the mortal plane is no longer your home. Your essence is being dissipated to the universe. You are eternal. You cannot die, but you cannot return to the plane that you once walked. Gris. The golden light begins to recede. Where Lione, in her ascended form, once hovered, there is nothing. Your friend Ariadne lies on the grass before you, surrounded by broken chairs and the trampled remains of floral arrangements. There's scraps of loose fabric, blood-stained white silk that you realize is Leone's wedding dress, drifting, cool breeze.
Chris runs over and kind of like immediately falls to her knees next to Ariadne and picks up their hand. And she slowly just whispers and says, "Ariadne, you're too brave, too courageous, too strong."
As you kneel over Ariadne and take their hand, you realize that clasped in their hand is their wedding ring. It's clasped so tightly that you almost kind of have to slide your hand to theirs to feel it.
And Gris take it from their hand
Yes, absolutely.
and read the inscription.
Yes. Would you like me to read it again, or do you?
Yeah, just read it again for cinematic purposes.
To know your love is far greater an adventure than that in any book. L.
Gris like closes her fist around the ring and kind of places it, solemnly into her satchel, and kind of leans her head down on Ariadne's and pulls out a little bag of what were once mushrooms that she has since added valerian root and lavender and some other calming herbs, and kind of just places it on Ari's chest. And she's just gonna kind of let out a long, low wail. And then this is just for like theatrical purposes, since Lione is no longer on this plane. But can Gris cast, she has a 9th level spell called Storm of Vengeance that just causes like a storm and kind of churning weather and like all this.
Absolutely. So you cast this in your broken-hearted anguish, and the sky fills with clouds. Lightning strikes the cliff around you. The wind picks up, and as it does, the arch, the wedding arch that you so carefully built, collapses. The flowers that adorned it take flight on the wind, and as you lean over Ariadne, you notice one flower caught in the wind catches on the rough fabric of their clothing. A single wild lily, torn loose from the arch, catches right below their collarbone, where you know their heart would be. As you let out another wail and the thunder crashes, you hear someone behind you.
I think Gris is gonna just once again like, I don't think she's going to lift her head up or turn or anything. She's still like clutching Ari's hands, and she's just gonna say, "Unless you can carry my friend, I don't want anything to do with this. Anything to do with anybody. Leave me alone, please."
Chickadee, I can try.
Gris is gonna slowly turn and kind of try to stand as much as she can. I'm sure it's a cross between a crawl and a fall into Reese's arms, and she's just gonna just sigh. She's gonna be like, "We have to take them back to Lily."
Of course, Chickadee.
We
will. But it can take a moment to mourn, you know?
I don't think I'm ever gonna. I've lost everybody. I don't know where Lione is. Ariadne is here, dead, as we're told. And I couldn't do anything to save Ariadne, and I couldn't do anything to save Lione. And now I'm worried that it's all because I started it.
You didn't start anything, Chickadee.
I did. I just wanted to hold Lione. I just wanted to stop her from hurting anybody else.
Chickadee. Griselda. Leone's decisions were her own. She was a grown-up. And I know you felt otherwise, but you were not her mother, and you couldn't tell her what to do.
You know, but
the best you could do was love her. You did. And you showed it in the only way you knew how, and that is that, Chickadee. He kind of takes your chin and tilts it up to look him in the eyes, and he says, "That is not your fault. It's not your fault for loving someone and for wanting the best. Them, okay? We love people to lose them. Sooner or later, the people we love will leave us. And we trust people, Chickadee, just to have them break our trust. And it is not your fault for loving in a world that is cruel and unfair, okay?"
I feel like I couldn't do anything.
Couldn't, Chickadee. Fate is cruel and awful, and it hurts people more than it helps them. But, Chickadee, your fate was to make the lives of people like me, like Lione, especially like Ariadne, better. You wrote me all those letters and you told me about an elf who didn't want to speak to you, didn't want to be your friend, and how much that hurt, but now you are mourning them as your closest friend, Gris. That's a fate made better because of you, not one made worse.
It's just not fair, Reese.
It's not fair. I know. It's not fair.
We've gotten to live such a long time with each other. And Ariadne found someone to love again. Only got to spend one evening truly connected with their beloved. It's just not.
I know. But Gris, isn't it better to have one evening truly connected with someone than a life without it? We are lucky in that we have long lives. We've had long lives together, but Gris, we are also terribly unlucky. Because we have to spend our lives warning the people who got a shorter time. That's not fair. And Gris, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't get here sooner.
Just glad you're okay. I'm glad you're here.
Too, Gris.
Gris kind of inhales for a moment. And she is like, I have to tell Leone's mom, too.
Gris, how do you think I to come here?
What do you mean?
Gris, Marius told us what happened.
Is he okay? And I just mean that in the like alive sense, not in the.
He's alive. I don't think he'll be okay, Gris.
No.
Yeah, I would not expect that's the case. And the people in the harbor?
No.
Nobody?
I don't know. That's where he went after he told us.
Gris kind of like takes a couple deep breaths. I think to some extent she probably sounds like she's hyperventilating a little bit. But she slowly stands up and she still kind of just staring down at Ariadne. And she just whispers a subtle goodbye and a thank you. And turns to Reese and says, well, we have things to do and more people to help. And hopefully more people to befriend and love.
And we have someone to bring home. They have someone waiting.
Yeah.
Gris, you and Reese carefully lift Ariadne's body and begin picking your way down the hillside. The sky above you clears as you sort of get a handle on some of that initial raw feeling. This solemn, makeshift funerary procession of sorts is lit by the silvery glow of the rising full moon. The crash of the tide against the shore echoes off the cliffs below you. In the morning, the sun will rise in a clear blue sky. And those in Alis and Aquera will begin to pick up pieces of lives shattered. However, you will arrive, the wildflower, and watch another life shatter before your eyes. Thank you so much for tuning into Campaign 1 of the Tabletop Tavern. Thank you for joining us. It has been a wonderful experience to share this story with you. Thank you so much to my players
for being a monster, everyone.
Working with me to make this story happen, and thank you guys for being flexible with a lot of storytelling stuff and for being willing to foray into PvP with me. But most importantly, thank you for being my friends. I'm so lucky to have run this game for all of you. Thank you for all of the tears and the laughter. You are all so wonderful. For those of you in the audience, we will be back with Campaign 2 in early 2022. Be sure to tune into Discord and Twitter to hear more about that. We've got some new players who will be joining us. It's going to be a really fun time. Hopefully a little bit less of a bummer, but who knows, you know? This kind of shit can start with a boob fish and end with almost a
killing your
TPK.
friends.
So thank you all for joining us, and we really, really, really appreciate your support.
Thank
We
you
love
all.
you all. Thank you.